bless our first responders, keep them safe and well. And as we prepare to go into the Gaslight Festival this year, we pray for safety and great weather and a great time to be had by all in our community. Watch over and guide us now, for we put our faith and trust in you. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have, all right, whose car is that?
It's the same one that was going off earlier.
What was it?
Gray SUV. Gray one, first one up there.
Okay, we're all going to try our emergency signal and then go from there. See if we can play them in unison.
I just turned mine off.
Me. I got dropped off, so.
I don't know why it went off.
You got an emergency right there?
Now all of them are going off.
Now they're all going.
We're going to have a song going on here.
Yeah, it's gonna be somebody from Third Turn.
Okay, wasn't there. Okay, the music's ended. Sorry. Not you. Come on back, Ronnie, and we'll start the proceedings here. We have some very honored guests with us tonight. Many times we have people that represent us through this community, and sometimes they're older, sometimes they're younger, and it always gives me great privilege when the younger generation represents this city and comes forth with something that is notable. There is among us some young men that are wearing hats. One is missing one. That's okay. You represented us well in the state and won the state championship, and we are so proud of you guys, the 6U. So we were thinking of things that 6U would love to have, and we thought, and the best thing we could think would give you would not necessarily be a plaque, because we don't know where that plaque would go, but we thought the best thing to give you, all the council got together and we thought this out, and we thought the best thing to give you was coupons for ice cream. So wouldn't that ice creams taste a lot better than a wooden plaque that's going to go at your coach's house? So if you all will come up to the mic, all the kids that are part of the 6U championship team, we would like to give you a coupon for ice cream. And we also like all the council to come down and get a picture that we can post with you all. Is that okay, guys? That'd be good. So let's first give a round of applause to our champions. All right, team, let's all go down. We're going to go down there because you're a little short for being up here.
That's great. Yeah.
Go down.
All right.
I give love. Congratulations.
All right. All right, let me give this to you guys first. All right, there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay, now if y'all would line up right. This way. And we need All right, thanks. All right, congratulations, boys.
Get one?
What ice cream place?
One down here.
Got a whole pocket full.
Sweet Savannah? Nice. Sweet Savannah.
Sweet Savannah.
Yeah, they get
One of our local places.
tons of toppings.
Good choice. Good choice.
All sorts of goodies on there.
We have you coming up, guys? Made it? We have a person amongst us, I guess, looking out there, there's a lot amongst us that are running for office, but there is one that would like to speak to us that will handle the criminals in the future. Claudette, Miss Patton, if you would like to come up, please.
Thank you, Mayor and
Mike,
City Council.
pull Mike. There you go. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council, for having me tonight. And if you don't mind, I will turn to the side. Is that all right? So
You can do whatever you want, Judge.
I'm Claudette Patton, and I am running for District Judge, Division 15. The Division 15 doesn't really mean anything other than that's the number of the seat of the bench that I'm going to sit on. If you live in Jefferson County, you have the opportunity to vote for every single judicial seat that is on the ballot. And this year, all 43 judicial seats are on the ballot. And I'm running for District Court 15. So on the ballot, I'm going to be the absolute very last one. So turn the ballot over, find me first, and circle that and vote for me. Also, I've learned on this campaign trail that a lot of people think that when they pull their particular, as we used to say, the lever for a certain party, that they have been voting for judges as well. That is not true. Judges are nonpartisan, and so you have to flip the ballot over and bubble us in individually for each one. So if you're voting a straight party ticket, you have never voted for a judge in your entire life. And there were some women the other night that were completely horrified that they had never voted for a judge before. I have over 30 years of legal experience. I have been a prosecutor. I've been an assistant attorney general for the state of Kentucky. I've been a clerk for a federal judge. I've been in private practice, and I currently own my own law firm. I have done every single type of case that is in district court. District court is half criminal and half civil. So all those probable cause cases that come through, felonies and misdemeanors that are under $5,000 come through district court. But I've done probate court. I've done name changes. I've done those mental inquest warrants, also guardianships. And as the council has known, I've come before, one of my greatest passions is juvenile justice. That falls underneath district court. That is my background. I'm a 3-time grad from the University of Louisville, special education with at-risk use degree, a master's degree, and my law degree all came from U of L. So I'm your hometown girl on the ballot. I respectfully ask for your vote. I'll leave some materials out front, and you can scan that QR code and look at my website and find out all the other things that might be of interest to you. Again, thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure to be in Jeffersontown, and for giving me a small time on your agenda tonight. Thanks again, and I hope you have a good night. And,
Thank you.
Good meeting tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you at the next event.
Yes.
We seem to have a group of us that go to every event. Ms. Smith, would you like to come up? Pull it down.
Good evening.
There you
My name is Yvonne Schmidt, and I'm with the Deer Creek Homeowners Association. And I'd like to bring to your attention that, well, I don't really know, the Blankenbaker Road coming towards Taylorsville Road, there are trees that are hanging over to where nobody can see coming down the hill to get out. we don't know who owns the property, whether it's J-Town or MSD, so we can get this problem taken care of.
Is it on Blankenbaker or is it on
It's
your?
on Blankenbaker. There's a small fence there, and the trees have grown over the fence,
Right where you all come out of your all's condos?
right where we come out of our condos.
Okay, I'll have to have Jimmy look at it. Blankenbaker is state. People don't realize it, but I'll have him look at it because we may be able to just trim them up.
Okay, and the other thing that's on our agenda is I called MSD and they referred me back to J-Town because we're in J-Town now to get lights at the end of our streets. It's pitch black at the end of the streets, and to get some extra lights as you come in our streets. I talked to Mr. Meunier back in March, and he said that I would probably have to get something signed like the hold harmless agreement, because we wanted to talk to someone with you all about maintaining our road, also the maintenance of our street, and snow removal. If we could talk somebody in J-Town about this agreement and see if it can be done.
Okay, Matt, I
Matt
believe,
Meunier?
yeah, I don't think he spoke right. You all have a private street.
Right.
We aren't allowed to do any of that on private streets. It's considered
Even if we signed one of these agreements?
it'd be like somebody donating their driveway. That's what y'all have is a long driveway, but unfortunately it's a private drive. We can do the hold harmless for trash pickup, but not for the property itself.
We have trash pickup. What about lights?
Light, same thing. It's your private drive. The road would have to be dedicated, and I'd have to look at it. I don't know if you have a road that could be dedicated because it's got parking and everything else on it.
Right.
I think we kind of talked about this when we annexed you,
Right.
but if it's a private road or a private drive, we're not allowed to do anything on it legally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can't go on private property and do anything. We have
See,
to do
that's why why LG&E wouldn't talk to me regarding the lights that we need, because there's a lot of old people that live in there.
Yeah.
The streets are pitch black at the end because there's a farm back there. And there's, several things that we've heard happen. So
if I could get you to, you got Kent Williams, Deer Park at KHOA. Is he the president?
Williams, he's our president.
Okay, I can research it to make sure that that's true, but unfortunately, if it's private drive, we can do trash. We used to not be able to do trash, and then we figured out a way to do a hold harmless.
Okay.
And the reason why we have to do a hold harmless, because if they damage your private road, we're not responsible, is
Right.
what it means. But we're not allowed to pave or snow removal any more than we would anybody's driveway,
Even
unfortunately.
if we took it a little bit further and went to the state with it.
That wouldn't matter. Now, if you have the capability of dedicating the road, dedicating the road to the city, we can take that, but it has to be in specs of a road, not as of a drive. It very well could be, which Sycamore Woods in Plainview.
Sycamore.
Sycamore one
And Sycamore.
wanted to do it, and by the time they got it dedicated, you have to give right away and everything else.
in
It
the
ended up being they lost their whole front yard and went all the way up to the porches. They said no.
Okay.
So we'll look at it. I don't want to give you a lot of vote of confidence on it, because it is private, and it was dedicated. It's the same as if you were in a condo association, you just have a longer drive to get out. But I'll definitely have Jimmy look at our public works director, look at the trees coming out there for sure. And then I'll let you know on the drive.
All right.
Are we picking up your garbage?
Yes.
Oh, we
yes,
are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Mayor.
Yes.
I had a question about the lights that she was talking about. Because it's private, is that something that their condo association would be able to negotiate with LG&E in order to get lights installed? It's just we wouldn't pick that up because it's private property?
The HOA would be the one to put the
HOA.
lights in. Would LG&E? I don't know. I
Okay.
can't really think. Yeah.
And they referred me when they asked me for our tax ID number, and I gave it to them. They said, you're part of J-Town. J-Town has to take care of that.
That's if you're a road. Yeah, yes. But let me find out first if you're dedicatable, in a term. It's not a word. I'm an accountant. We use our own words. But if it can be dedicated, then we'll go that route. If it can't,
Okay.
then go the other route. Okay?
Well,
Mr.
thank you
Mayor,
very
if
much.
if there's anything I can do to help on this, I get gobs of calls from this specific organization. And, they were told that they could have this if they did the hold harmless. Someone told them that. And I told them that they needed to come up here and talk with you.
Okay.
So,
Oh, yeah, it's an untrue statement. I put it that way. So I'll tell Matt not quit saying it. That's only true for trash. And the hold harmless is just simply hold us harmless if the driveway is damaged by the trucks, not us. So, all right, I'll let you know. If you would do me a favor, would you take this and write your phone number on there? Somebody else's, I don't have phone number so we can call. You got a pen, need a pen? Or whoever you want me to contact rather than email. Or is that you? Who?
that's Yvonne Schmidt.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, I'll start this, and then when you get done, just bring it up. Reading of the minutes, August 16th, 2022.
Mayor, I would move that the minutes be approved as distributed.
Second.
Any discussion, deletions, changes? Thanks. You're welcome to stay, visit. We're out of ice cream coupons, so
We gave them all away, right?
came all the way. If I'd known, Thanks, guys. Is that Yvonne's phone number, or is that Kent's? That's hers. Okay, thanks. All right. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. General Fund Warrant 1568.
I move general fund warrant number 1568 be approved as distributed.
Second.
Any discussion, deletions, corrections, or conversation? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous. Road Fund Warrant 955.
Make a motion, fund warrant 955 be approved as distributed.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries unanimous. Second reading of ordinance 1432, series 2022. This being second reading, our city person is not here today, but we have the applicant's attorney here. If you have any questions, or I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion for a second reading of ordinance number 1432, series 2022 by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
This is second reading of ordinance number 1432, series 2022, an ordinance to amend the zoning of a certain parcel of land located within Jeffersontown, Kentucky, from PEC classification to C2 classification and a detailed district development plan. That concludes second reading. You may entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. We have two firsts, 2 seconds, so that should go quickly. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Again, you're welcome to stay. If next time we have ice cream, we'll bring it for you. Thanks. We have another special guest tonight, and all of you are welcome, as you see on the agenda down the bottom. We don't have that on there. I'll let him invite you to a function tomorrow at 10 o'clock, but also explain to you about the premium pay that the fireman, that he represents both J-Town and countywide firemen. Chief, if you would come up and explain what we've been discussing for about a year and a half, and we're trying to bring it to fruition.
First of all, thank you, Mayor, for inviting me to the council meeting tonight. I'm going to give you just a handout real quick. This kind of explains the 8 departments that I'm representing in the Jefferson County. The reason why is because I must not have been present at the meeting when they voted for the president of the Chiefs Association. So I am the president of the Chiefs Association now. So I get to represent the other 8 departments as well as of your department at Jeffersontown. So I'm going to hand this out to you.
Just give it to,
Thanks, Chief.
you want to give one to Skylar? Skylar, you got one?
That's all right. I can get one later.
Just a little history. Everybody understands what ARPA funds are and what they are used for. But back when they were originally distributed, almost 18 months ago, the Chapter 75 fire districts, which I represent, were left out. There's a couple hundred Chapter 75 fire districts in the state, but there's 8 here in Jefferson County. We were left out of that funding. We did not get any of the ARPA funds. So when time was come around to where other cities, counties, employees, first responders, et cetera, all started receiving premium pay, obviously the suburban departments that I represent, 750 some odd firefighters, and EMS personnel, et cetera, were like, where's our premium pay? And so we started asking Metro government as well as the small cities, 80 some odd small cities. Not everyone got the ARPA pay out of those 80 small cities, but a majority of them did. Well, Metro government has set aside an ordinance, $3.6 million set aside for the ARPA funds be used for premium pay to help the suburban departments receive some sort of premium pay. Well, as you can see from that note that I just sent you, it takes about $5 million for all 751 employees in Jefferson County with the fire districts to receive their $5,000 or their $1,500, depending on their position, of their premium pay. Well, we got 3.6 been set aside from the Metro government. Now the question is, what will the small cities be willing to contribute? Because part of that ordinance basically said that they need participation amongst the small cities in order for us to receive any money at all. Well, we've been talking to Jefferson County League of Cities, as well as had some meetings with the other small cities. And a couple of weeks ago, back when the actual Little League won a World Series, that particular day, I was meeting with 14 other small cities. And it sounded like they were a lot of support. And even Skylar has helped us with some, some documents for us to make it easier for us to move forward, to pool the money amongst the small cities in order to distribute that amongst the other fire districts as seen. So what I'm asking you all, City of Jeffersontown, is would you be willing to support basically the fire districts in receiving premium pay for our members?
So what, let you all know a little more, I'll tell you what premium pay means. When we paid all of our employees here, we gave them all the $5,000 bonus. And it's not a bonus, it's an additional two, which ended up being about $1.40 an hour pay increase during that time frame that they were in. We actually did the premium pay according to how many days you were here. We paid you for that time frame. And it varied anywhere from $5,000 to less if you weren't here during that time frame. As the chief mentioned, they didn't get the option to do that from the ARPA funds because they didn't get the ARPA funds. So they were trying to do what Louisville did, which is $5,000 for the first responders, counting EMT, the ambulances, and $1,500 for
administrative people.
For administrative people.
If you're a part-time or a volunteer or administrative, you got $1,500. Now we only have, Jeffersontown only has some administrative people, but there are some volunteers still on some of this other fire districts, and they have some part-time people as well that fill in. So they would receive the $1,500. But
now the situation twofold. One that not only includes that, but includes the retirement that they have to pay in, an additional FICA they have to put in. So the dollar amount that they're talking, the $5 million, includes all of it, because it's sometimes you give somebody a bonus and it's higher than what they would have paid otherwise. The other thing is, if you look at the situation among all of us that worked in the public sector during the pandemic, not taking anything away from police or anybody else, many times the ambulances were sent out on COVID runs and the people didn't want to go to the hospital. So there wasn't any pay because they didn't get transported to the hospital because they were more fearful of the hospital getting sicker than not. So they treated people at their homes and then didn't make any payment during that time frame. So they did claim that. You did get some pay for that. But even that, the men and women did put themselves at risk going out and working on the the situation during COVID. The other thing we thought about, looked at as far as should we do this or should we not? And this point, we haven't absolutely done write the check, give it to them because they're still working out the details. And as Chief mentioned, Skylar and John, one of the other city attorneys, is working on the legality of how to physically do this. I can tell you the chief is going to do it anyway, regardless. He just feels like that dedication to his employees. He's going to do it. He just wants us to participate. The city, prior to us going to Frankfurt and fighting for them to have the ambulance service, which upped our ambulance service tremendously. I mean, Ronnie can contest to that, what we went from to with our ambulance service. We used to spend, Bill, a little over $100,000 a year in ambulance service, and that's been since 18, 17.
You all went all the way back to probably 14 or 12 when
when did you take over?
Oh, when I took over at 17.
17. So it's been 5 years at that point. So we were kind of talking about what does this mean? And downtown won't tell us, and intentionally I told them don't come out and tell the cities they have to give in order for us to give. So they're staying very vague about it. But Chief and I kind of talked about a fair dollar amount would be around 200,000. So if you think in 5 years we've saved 500,000 by them providing the ambulance service, the 200,000 seems like a reasonable dollar amount for benefiting the men and women that were out there on the front line for us during the pandemic and COVID. So we're just asking for, I think you're just asking for a general, do you all think it's okay? Not actually a staunch resolution yet, because we have to get the resolution written. And Skylar wants to write it to where, okay, you're giving this money and this is where it's going and this is how we're going to do it, because according to ARP money, we have to follow rules A to Z. So he was just trying to get the feel. One thing, he's going to write checks for his employees within the next couple of weeks anyway, and he wanted to see if we would do it. Generally, the money will go into the fireman
Jefferson County Suburban Fire Service account,
which is a countywide account. We're asking Louisville to put in their 3.6. All the cities put in their money, and it will be distributed equally amongst all the fire districts. And you may say, well, I'm only concerned about J-Town. Well, J-Town is served by both J-Town, Anchorage, Middletown, and Fern Creek at this time. But also many times you'll have a ambulance that will come from other parts of the county because they're out on runs or they'll share apparatuses and that type thing. And so rather than try to divide up a check here or there, we're just putting in the 200,000, and our men and women here will get the check. And also the people in Anchorage that serve Plainview in that area, and the people in Waters and Woods that have Fern Creek in that area. So at this time, he wants to entertain the discussion to see. Again, we've been talking for many months trying to get to this point. And since we came to this point, we just kind of brought it up to you all, not to put you on the spot, but just to kind of say, yes, we're interested, or no, we're not, or we need more information.
I have a question. Is the money going to come from our ARP money, or is it going to?
Well, our ARP money is already in our general fund.
Right.
We've already accepted it because according to the ARP money, the first $10 million you can just bring in as general expense. Is that right? And
yes, there's a deduction, standard deduction, where you take $10 million, and that is you can then use that as general fund money, basically.
So that fund money goes into the general fund, which is part of the budget. So we could take it anywhere from different areas of the budget now, or take it out of the ARPA fund. But if we use the ARPA money, we can't use it to pay past pension dollars. We can't use it to pay loans. There are several things you can't use it, but this is something you can use it. And that's where the attorneys have to, I'm not going to bring you a resolution tonight because the attorney's got to write it up to make sure it goes in the proper way so that the ARPA money don't get tied up by the next.
I guess my question is, if the federal government gave it to the city of Jeffersontown, are we legally allowed to take money from that and give it away?
But I guess I'll go back and say again, that's why Skylar is writing the resolution at another date for you to come back. Yes, okay. There is a means and method. We just want to make sure that path is proper.
Okay.
Yeah, it falls within the parameters, it says, and it meets the criteria.
Okay.
Chief, if all 8 districts are participating, or all 8 cities, I should say, are participating, roughly 184,000, that's what you've rounded up as. I think it's a reasonable request.
I'm sorry. Question. I mean, there's 8 suburban fire districts.
Yes, I mean,
80 cities.
I got you.
Yeah.
80 cities. Yeah. And to the chief's point, not all the cities accepted it. I begged them to get it, but some of them said, we don't see spending it.
Yeah.
And then you have a city like Shively who has their own fire department that they've already given to that we're not reaching out to them.
This may be opening up a whole can of worms, but you keep on mentioning the word retirement, pension, all that kind of stuff. I know you've had quite a few people retire this year. Will they get?
No.
The
You have to be current.
the people that already retired from my department, we gave them premium pay,
Okay.
but we realized we just ate that money.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question
That's good, but
Yeah.
No, I mean that's hey, I'm out for the employees. So that's
They
the best
they
thing
worked
to do.
they worked during that time, but they would retire from the fire department. I went ahead or with the fire district went ahead and gave them premium pay on their retirement.
but this money, Chief, is going to active service, right?
Yes, this money is for current employees within the fire district that worked during COVID. So it doesn't include anybody I've hired within the last, since January. It was prior to January. If you worked during that time of COVID and are currently employed by me, you will get paid by me.
And the one thing we did, I don't know, you might consider, is that the one rule that I think Louisville said is if you were employed on March of 2020, you got it. If you weren't, we didn't. What we did is even if you were hired in September that year, we prorated it. We didn't kick you out.
We just said before January 1. If you worked for us during COVID and before January 1 and you're currently employed during the time we receive the money,
Right.
you will be given the premium pay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mayor?
We just made it a little bit simpler.
Yes.
All right, is this a one-shot deal?
Yes.
Or is this every year?
No, one shot.
Yeah.
Legally, you can only do that. You can't really give this more than once. Well, you can write 2 checks, but the ARPA money is only allowing us to do this time. In fact, we normally can't do this.
We're doing 2 checks. So we're going to do half in September and the other half right before Christmas is how we're going to distribute the money. That way they get both ends of it before Christmas time. Plus financially it helps the fire district because we don't start receiving our tax revenue until December anyway. So it helps it that way.
And as you know, we normally can't give bonuses, but during the ARPA, we can give the premium pay bump one time, Ronnie. That's it.
It's going to cost me a little over $500,000 to give our people the premium pay.
Yeah.
And Chief, just so I heard right, is it a flat 5,000 or is it's not going to be prorated based on the amount of time they work during that period?
No,
so
sir.
if somebody started, 2 days before the deadline, they get the same amount as somebody who started at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. We did just a flat rate, 5,000. We did not try to figure out if they worked or not. 24-hour schedules would be very hard to differentiate. And if you worked a lot of overtime, plus we had a lot of people that were off during that time because they were under quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't penalize them for doing that. So it'll be very, very tough to figure out if how many hours they actually worked or not, and if they were on quarantine or not. So we just said flat rate, $5,000. That way it made it even across the board. No one got held back any money based on, if they worked one day more than the next person.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
So Mayor, tonight you're not looking for
I would
a
just
vote. You just want
Well, I guess what I would ask, and this is not binding by any, just a friendly, favorable, yes, we think that 2,000 would be something we would favorably consider a yes vote.
200.
So, 200,000, sorry. So I don't, Schuyler, I don't want to necessarily do a resolution, just or do you want to do
You want to do like a thumbs up since we're
Well, I mean,
on the record?
we could do
you
a
can
voice
propose it as a non-binding resolution to grant
word it?
$200,000 toward firefighter premium pay administered through the Suburban Fire Chiefs Association.
if all things considered become favorable.
Yeah.
We got a first. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries right now. Second thing, Chief, you want to say what's happening at 10 o'clock?
First of all, thank you all very much. Really appreciate the support. The firefighters in Jefferson County do as well. My second thing is you should have got an invitation for tomorrow. It's a very exciting day for us. 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, we are going to be breaking ground on Station 4. So the Station 4 is located 12602 Taylorsville Road. So it's right there by the Kroger, Tyler Center area. we are continuing to expand Jeffersontown, believe it or not. So the name of Jeffersontown is expanding out all the way to Gene Snyder Freeway. I know it's not a tax revenue for you. I know you don't get any money for that area, but when people come in off the expressway now, not only do they see the sign exit Jeffersontown, the first thing they're going to see there is a firehouse with a sign Jeffersontown Station 4. So that'll be breaking ground tomorrow, and it's a 14-month build. So that's a $7.3 million investment the fire district's putting into a new station. We'll be able to increase our run response in that area because we go all the way out to Deer Trace Estates. And if you know where that's at, that is a long haul from our Station 1 right here in Washington Trail. That's the closest firehouse to Deer Trace Estates. Not for long. So hopefully by January 2024, we will be operational out of that firehouse.
Well, minutes mean lives in your profession. So
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Seconds mean lives. Yep. Yeah. With another med unit out there, that would be even additional wonderful thing for us to have. But now we've got Jeffersontown and Hikes Point. Now we'll have Jeffersontown all the way out there by Tyler Center and Gene Snyder Freeway.
Sean, what happened to the firehouse at Dry Ridge, right there on the corner?
Dry Ridge.
Right across from Dry Ridge. It was a fire station there at one time.
Dry Ridge. You're Dry Ridge and where?
Dry Ridge is after you pass Deer Trace.
After you pass Deer Trace.
Where you return to go
you
drive.
talk about, yes, that's Brush Run. So Brush Run, sorry. Brush Run Firehouse, that's Fern Creek. So Fern Creek Station 3. It's still there.
Still out there.
But it is not manned.
I don't even think it was manned. Yeah.
So it's not manned. So yeah, Fern Creek has, well, since they've taken over Buchel as well as Camp Taylor, they have a total of 6 fire stations, but only 4 of them are manned. So one of them, that one way out there in Brush Run, is not. The other one at Anchorage Middletown has a station out there by Fisherville in Finchville. So it's in Finchville. That firehouse has an ambulance in it, but now a fire truck. So there's no firefighters there, just 2 EMS personnel, and that's it. But most of the time they're not there. They're usually making runs somewhere back into Anchorage Middletown and so on. But our firehouse out there will be, it'll protect probably about 25 square miles or better in that particular area. So some people say it'll be very busy. I'll wait to see if that's the case.
Too.
Well, you hope not.
Yeah, so I'm hoping it won't, but I'd really like to see Plantside Drive get connected and come all the way across there to Tucker Station Road. That'll help us get back to the industrial park, and that way we don't get stopped by the tracks. We need to get that road connected. I wish City Metro Council would get that done, but we'll wait and see how that works out. Sorry, Vince.
Where do you suggest we park?
That's a good question. So we're gonna. Depending on how wet it is, hopefully the rain has stopped and it's going to stop until tomorrow. That's what the weather bug told me that. If it's dry, we're going to have you pull in the lot, and we'll have firefighters showing you where to park. If you don't see any parking there and it just looks too crowded, what I would recommend is park over in Kroger, and you can have to walk across. But you should be able to pull in. We're going to have areas that you can park in the grass. And hopefully that we can get you out. So that's the plan.
Thanks.
Chief, I have a question not pertaining to this, but several months ago, you and I spoke about the baby drop boxes.
Yes.
Have you had a chance to have someone look into that? Is it possible? I think Fern Creek recently got one.
Yes, Fern Creek did put one at, I think it's at the Buchel Firehouse is where they end up putting one. I have not. The reason why the one where it would work probably the most likely is going to be up here in Washington Trail. The problem is with baby drop boxes is it doesn't necessarily, our fire stations are times that there's no one there. And that's what concerns me. Somebody drop a baby off and there's no one there. And that would worry me. So if we were able to figure something out where it automatically set up an alarm and maybe trigger something at the dispatchers with J-Town Police, they would know that somebody opened up the drop box and it would notify them. So we're still working on how that would work and where it would go, and the cost would
I was thinking that
because the cost is not cheap.
No.
So it would be nice to get some sort of grant for that and have one in J-Town. And I'd be happy to try to work on that project and come back to you and look at that.
But Stony Brook may be a viable place as well because so close proximity-wise to the hospitals.
Yep.
So
I got you. Yep, absolutely.
Is that one manned with?
No, Stony Brook's us.
I mean, is that one manned as well? I mean, as far
Yes,
as,
it has the same amount of firefighters.
Same amount,
Yeah,
okay.
same amount. Uh-huh. Yes, sir.
okay.
Not for long though. As soon as I pull one of those companies out and send them out to Station 4 next year, but it'll be a little bit less, but be some.
And when will Station 4 get its certificate of occupancy? Once you,
I'm hoping we're operational January 2024. So it's a 14-month build. We've already awarded the contract to Marilla Construction. So Marilla's has got the contract. Now I'm not sure if you all know about Marilla, but Marilla is a Jeffersontown area resident. So he basically grew up on Old Hetty Road. They had farms there. I think his mother still lives there, and he's taken over the business from his dad. A business actually located out of Lexington, but he really wanted this contract because basically that's the area that he used to ride his four-wheeler on as a kid, and he really wanted this to happen.
That's
Yeah.
Scott.
No.
Yeah, so
That
and
sounds good.
so it's exciting to know that
That's
somebody local at one time has got the actual contract, and he's got some ownership in it, which I do like that. You know, one thing that we don't really understand, we don't build fire stations every day. This might be the last fire station you see built in Jefferson County in our lifetime. And so back a long time ago, they did a study in the entire Jefferson County as well as the city of Louisville to figure out where would firehouses need to be built in order for it to be one large metro fire department if it happened. Well, there was only one firehouse that needed to be built, and that's the one that we're building starting tomorrow. So that might be the last one you see in Jefferson County. We'll see.
outstanding, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks.
You want this? It's signed. Not you, Sergeant. Save me calling you and saying it's ready. The next thing on the agenda is the report on rodent control.
Yes,
I kept one of the contracts, Brandon. I got one.
Mayor, are we still doing insurance tonight too?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. I forgot Chip. Let me go back to Chip and then we'll talk to the others. Okay. Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm holding him here on the corner. He's been waiting since 4 o'clock and
3 o'clock.
3.
3 o'clock. Sorry.
Rodent control reminded you of me, right?
Well, it did Mark, not me. I don't know.
He doesn't need to be here for that discussion.
That's true,
Chip,
that's true.
I got you.
All right. Sorry.
Great. Well, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, council members. A number of you were part of the earlier committee meeting, so some of this will be a revisit for you. And for those of you that weren't part of the insurance committee, hopefully you'll have time to look over the packet of information. I do believe everyone does have a packet of information in front of them, but it's hard to believe that it is already time for us to be discussing our 2023 insurance program. This time of year comes around all too quickly. But on the right-hand side of your packet, you're going to see a spreadsheet that we have put together that indicates our current Humana program and pricing, our renewal pricing with our current plan from Humana, and then an alternate plan design. The alternate plan design is the design that seems to make the most sense for the upcoming year, based on the fact that it is a reduction in cost. And with that reduction in cost, there'll be a couple of minor benefit modifications that from our committee discussion today would then be considered to basically be borne by the city to take on that exposure in order to realize the 2.5% reduction in pricing. For those of you that are looking at this for the first time, I'll just give you a second then to kind of take a look at the spreadsheet to see if you have any specific questions. But the benefits themselves contractually aren't different from the plan that we have today. We still will maintain the zero coinsurance or 100% coverage after our deductible amount. The deductible and the out-of-pocket limit are one and the same. So once an individual does satisfy your deductible, the insurance then will be paid at 100% for the remainder of the calendar year.
All we have is additional exposure, Tim and Ronnie, of $1,100 for the increase in deductible, and that's borne by the city. And the average people that hit the deductible is around 40 to 50. So we're looking exposure rate probably right around $46,000 extra possible. And we're looking at a cost savings of about $128,000. So we'll net out a substantial amount of savings with this, but we will have more exposure because our deductible is higher that the city's paying. Employee won't know any difference. Still get the same HSA money, same deductible. Everything else is identically the same. So the only person to see any difference is Holly when she lets you know when it, rather than it top out at 63, it tops out at 75, and we're going to get a 3%. 2.5% reduction, which is phenomenal. I have to give Clarkson and Chip and his crew a lot of attaboys for getting this rate for us during the health crisis that we're in right now.
And also, council, the vision stays the same, and the Delta Dental went up negligibly.
2%.
Very small, so 2%.
So we're looking for you were handed out a resolution today and to let you know the reason why the expediency of this is because at the beginning of the year when we set a budget, we were looking at a possible 20% increase. So we set the budget at that point, and Chip and them and our experience factor came down. So why it's down, we want to lock it in, and Humana will lock it in. If all of a sudden experience goes back up, they may think twice. So we want to lock it in right now. And that's why we went ahead and came from the committee report earlier to bring it to you all to see if it's okay to have the resolution in hand and say, yes, resolution 1715 series 2022, we will approve it.
I make a motion, we approve series 1715 series 2022 as distributed.
Second.
Any discussion?
And just one comment, the entire insurance committee, it was unanimous with the members of the council, our finance committee, FOP, police department, public works, and city hall.
Public Works wasn't there, but that's
They were not in attendance, so by their own absence, they voted for it.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
First reading of resolution number 715, series 2022. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a one-year contract extension with Humana Health Plan, the Standard, Delta Dental, Humana Vision, and BMS for employees' insurance. That concludes first reading. You may entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. It has been a privilege and an honor to work with your company for the years that we've been here, and thank you for all the savings you've done for our health insurance and handling anything and everything we have as a problem. Thank you, Chip, and thank you, Clarkson.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, and thank you all again for allowing us the opportunity to do so. We greatly appreciate it. Council, thank you all so much, and committee members, thank you for your time today.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Chip.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Chip.
Okay, on to rodents.
Now for the dirty.
From insurance to rats.
Now for the dirty stuff.
Okay.
I will turn it over to our city attorney, who has done extensive investigation into where the rats went.
Well, I don't know where the rats went. Being an attorney, that would be professional courtesy.
Yes.
Okay.
To disclose them. But in any event, no, I did do a lot of fairly large amount of research on what we could do as a city and what homeowners can do, and the ability of the homeowner to utilize a much more effective rodent controls, including hiring outside companies if they want to do that. They have a lot more leverage than governments do. And the other aspect of it was I wanted to work through what our liability would be and to diminish that as much as I can. And so what I proposed to the mayor, and which I think is the best way to go, is for us to assist the homeowners with cost of that. And so, for example, we would create essentially a grant program where we would pay the homeowner, let's say $25 toward the cost of rodent control. In other words, they would bring us a receipt and we would give them money, a rebate basically on their costs. That way the homeowner has absolute control on what they use. We have no liability, and yet we're assisting them with an area of public health, safety, and welfare. So
what we've determined, what the $25 could be more than once, could be once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year. It could be for the bait itself or for hiring somebody to do it during the time frame. And then we'd also, we suggested, if you all so choose, to set a maximum amount out of the budget that we would do, $5,000, whatever it would be, 2,000, whatever the number is, so that once that is gone, it doesn't keep expending. So that's kind of where we came back with for you all to see. You can discuss it, you can put it in committee, or you can move forward, whatever you want to do.
I got a question, Scholar.
Sure.
Let's say that somebody goes and buys a really deadly rat poison and then brings us the receipt, and we give him the money, and then he puts us out, and somebody's dog or child gets into it. Could we be held liable because we reimburse the seller? I mean, whatever they are, the consumer? Sorry, I'm in real estate mode.
Right. Nothing is ever certain, okay? But I feel about 99.9% confident that we would be insulated from liability in that circumstance. For example, let's not even say that it's the greatest of the great, but they negligently use it.
Mm-hmm.
We clearly would not be liable in that circumstance. It would be very much different, though, if we were to go and buy a pallet of rat control chemicals and hand those out to homeowners. At that point, we'd be number one on the hit list.
Carol, the other thing comes in, if they go buy a box at the hardware store, the box itself says the safety features that are on it. So if they don't, to Scholar's point, if it says do not put it in areas where a dog is or a cat is, they are not following instructions on the box.
I guess I'm playing devil's advocate here, but let me just suggest this. Let me see what you think about this, because I think this would be done. Let's say that I'm a drug addict and I go and I buy a rat cage. I come up here and get my money, and then I take back the rat cage and get my money back from Home Depot. So now these people have made $25 or $50. I mean, I'm just thinking how people's mind works. I don't want to be giving people money if they don't use I think it has to be, in my opinion, it has to be a professional company contracted to do the work. I don't trust people to do it themselves and just give them money back. I think that they would be, that's my own. I don't know what y'all think.
Carol, so you're thinking like how we work with like a wrecker crew or something like that, like a tow truck crew. They go and do
like
runs
Black
for
Diamond or Ohio Valley or somebody. And we should be able to contract with these people and say, they're our homeowners, will you give them a break? And then we can give them back that. I just
Carol,
don't like giving people money.
I think what Skylar is saying is the city does not want to contract because of the liability exposure. So from that aspect, and I think we can safeguard that. No matter what we do, we always have the potential for nefarious intentions with people. But if we're going to, as the mayor said, cap this program, this grant program at roughly $5,000. And once the money's gone, it's gone, it's gone. We're trying to help it's a health issue is what it is, safety and health issue. So I'm in favor of doing, as long as we cap it. But we can't, some people may abuse the program. but that's with everything that goes on.
Now, a lot of retailers will take back product without a receipt, but the one thing could be is you require an original receipt, and we keep it on record here.
Right. There you go.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
you may still have somebody
And-
gives it back, but that knocks it down.
And this will all be very carefully documented. But before I went to the work to do that, because it's, when we do something legalese like this, it's got to dot the I's and cross the T's. But that's why I wanted to throw out what we were thinking and get a sense of I should go forward and draft something up.
Anything more, yeah.
Huh?
You seen
Anything
this?
more than what, yeah. Do you want this or not? Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were doing your research on this, has any other communities done something like this or?
Yeah, it's, I saw where other communities had done it, both here in Kentucky and elsewhere, and had done it on large scales, had done it on small scales. And I also saw where they had done it, for example, for mosquito control,
Right.
other types of biohazards, if you will.
That, the other thing is you turn in a receipt, and again, as Scour said, the details we haven't gotten into because we don't know if you want to go this direction, so why waste time? But Carol, the other thing is the person would have to have an address that they are going to, they would have to give us their name, address, and everything like that. So it's not going to be just a person walking down the street that says, "Hey, I want to get."
But
that
I'm
money."
I'm glad you pointed that out, because that is a safeguard that I can address in the paperwork.
Right.
Yeah.
If you all want to choose, I mean, that's
How would you get the word out that that's something we're offering?
somebody calls, we could tell them, or I mean, I'm not going to sit here and promote the J.
No, you don't want
Honey, but,
to, if you ask them, they'll use it.
How
So
many?
we might want to reach out to some of those neighborhoods that actually came to the
Came here.
meeting and addressed us and asked for some help, and we've been and visited. I don't know, I mean,
Again, it's up to what y'all want to do, and we're getting ready to get out of the season. When winter hits, you're not going to have the same problems. You
The
do.
rats go away in the winter?
They have-
they hibernate.
Oh, they hibernate.
Do you think some of these neighbors have already purchased poison on their own and tried that route and it's just not working?
I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea. My guess would be, I mean, if I were going to guess, you'd probably agree with me. They probably have, and some have had more success than others.
And this won't get rid of the problem. It will just kill the rats. I mean, if there's something that's attracting the rats, it doesn't solve that problem. That's where you have to have a health department or somebody, and they're not the ones to come out. So
How much is one of these traps? The good traps that we're talking about? Are they like $100?
Or poison.
Poison, whatever we're gonna give the rebate on.
The reason that I came up with $25 is that's when you go on Amazon and you look and things like that, other sites, it's about anywhere from $19 to $27. And so that's where I sort of used the round number of 25. Now, I have a heart trap or something like that. If you're going to try to capture them live, they're much more expensive.
But you don't trap rats or mice because they don't. Really,
Yeah, there's nothing. Well, I just
Foxes, they go in.
their traps are snap trap. You kill them.
Yeah.
Because they can sneak through the smallest hole. So that they have a heart traps
Right.
aren't made for that.
Yeah, I guess
It's-
my question was I wasn't sure because 25 seems small, but I've never purchased these things. So I don't know if that covers the entire cost. So it's worthwhile for someone to go do it. Or if it was $100 trap or poison or whatever.
Well, any idea what a service would be from a Black Diamond or any of those?
A lot
We
more
were
expensive
thinking-
than that, Tim.
I
We
mean,
were-
250?
I don't know if it's 250, but it's
Well, 'cause what
expensive
I'm-
because we get it done here, and it's like $80 a month or something.
Okay. Well, I was just trying to figure out to offset some of the
Scour and I
things
kind
is
of
maybe you have to bring a licensed receipt back that shows that somebody who is licensed to do this to get $50.
Well,
If you bring a receipt for powder.
And I guess the question from my point of view, since I'm going to be the one that Holly and I are going to be the one that writes all these checks to all these people.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Or is somebody going to come in with a $7 receipt and think they're going to come back 2 weeks later with another $7 receipt and another $7 receipt? And then we're going to have to keep track of how much we paid that person. So you got to be real careful when you open up this door, because somebody may go buy poison 7 3 times, 4 times, and then we want to give them, we'll have to write them 4 checks within a month.
I would make it a one-time
One-time.
payment.
Okay. And so if they only spend 7, we give them 7.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I guess
And I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to look at what I know happens.
Yeah, there's a lot of back of the house tracking that could.
Yeah, it's going to take, I'm not saying it's going to take another person, but it's going to put more, we're going to have to keep track of it.
Well, and it was exactly to your point that the mayor and I, as we were thinking through this, it's a one time. You bring in your receipt and it's a
And
one
still,
time.
if it was 7 times one time, that's 1,000 checks.
Mm-hmm.
Or a little less than 1,000 checks that have to be generated. We generate 300 checks a month on our normal bills. So that's 3 months worth of checks that we'd have to generate. I'm not saying it's going to kill us.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm just saying there is other logistics involved in it. And then we got to mail it. And if they lose it, we got to reimburse them. We got to stop payment. So think about that, because just the paperwork alone is going to be,
Tedious. There's going to be a lot.
it's going to be tedious, but it can, and I don't want you to think we can't be done. It can be done, but it's going to be tedious.
I'm definitely on the fence on this idea. I don't know if it should maybe go on a committee, or I don't know. There's just too many things that,
But
you brought up some good points, Carol.
move it to committee.
I don't know.
I'm fine with that. And I think it's a great idea.
It's a lot to
but I'm
think
just,
about, a lot to work out.
So the question would be, to Bill's point, how do you administrate this in a economical, reasonable, expedient way?
No, that's right where I went when you made the comment, let's take the receipts and keep them. Then as you were talking, the $7, well, Tim Hall came for $7, but I'm coming back 3 weeks. That means you're going to have an Excel sheet. You're going to have something else tracking
No,
to show that
because-
Tim Hall came 3 weeks ago, buddy. You already got your rebate.
and
a lot
that's easy enough to do.
Okay.
I mean, because like you said before, we have to, before we cut a check to somebody, we have to have their name, address to put on the check. We just can't write Tim Hall a check without his name and address on it, without his address on it.
But what's your
That's
point?
in our vendor system. So once we know what's in there, then we can flag it.
But to your point and Tim's point, you still got to do a spreadsheet or do something to keep track of the people over time. Because they could come in,
There's a lot
you
of
give them $25, that's the maximum. They come back in, you got to go back to the spreadsheet. Somebody's got to do research on it.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to shoot down the idea. I think it might be a way to solve the problem. Maybe we don't go with 5,000 to start. Maybe we go with 2,500, cuts it in half a little bit.
Yeah.
See how it works, and if it becomes a logistic nightmare, once we pay the 2,500, we just don't renew it again.
Would other animals eat this poison? Would chipmunks, would squirrels, would other
I'm looking up
animals?
rat traps right
rabbits?
now.
Yes, they will, because my daughter lived beside somebody who had it, and we put out poison in their yard because they moved. And yes, we killed possums, we killed a bird.
Okay, then I'm a no on this idea.
It's one.
Dogs can-
And I'm not trying to convince you, Pam, but it does happen.
It's further than that though, Pam. If the rat dies from the poison and then another animal eats the rat.
The rat, yeah.
But we do actually know there was a bird and a possum in my daughter's yard. But the rats were huge. I bought a trap from Maradura's hardware store, a wood one, and it snapped, and I went down there to pick it up, and the rat was still alive, and it shook itself off and ran.
Oh my gosh.
I screamed. So yes, they were big, but we had OPC come out and actually set the
let's
poison.
move it to.
You asked Schuyler to bring you back a report, and that was.
Do you all want to think about this? We'll put it in committee if you want to. And
Put it in committee.
I don't know what the rat committee is.
Safety.
Safety?
I'm not on that one.
Okay, safety
It's
committee.
not safety, guys. Safety
That's
is
not safety.
policing, and I'm
It's
not gonna
probably
call it-
legislative.
How about
rats in the
parks?
legislature.
Not parks, but public
Well,
works.
let me ask you first, do you all see any viability? Because it sounds like you're all more leaning toward this really isn't working.
Well, I had a question on the logistics, Bill, because you brought up a really good point. They keep resubmitting, right?
Well-
no, I know you guys can take care of it. What I'm trying to think is if someone can only get the rebate once up to the 25. So if I'm going to do 777, I got to submit all those receipts and I'll get 21.
Correct. You could do it
Okay.
that way. Okay.
Okay.
If Skylar writes it in the resolution that you go buy the poison, if you tell them $25, they're going to buy $25 worth of poison. Let's don't kid
That's
ourselves.
what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
25.
they're not going to buy $7 worth and keep going back for 3 months. They're going to spend the full $25 and we're going to get a receipt.
The $25 is a number that we just.
I know, but
I
we're
mean,
just
it's a-
talking
it's
the
a
number.
No, but that's what, it
But-
could be.
But if they
35
only
or-
get a one-time shot at it, they're going to spend the full amount. It's like me going out to dinner and I have a $25 gift card. I'm going to spend more than $25.
Let me ask you
I want to
this.
get my whole money.
I'm going to ask you something first. How many problem areas are there in Jeffersontown?
I don't know. We were just asked to investigate it. This was
We
Ray.
had
and
about 3
Ray's-
come in.
Unfortunately,
Ray
Yeah, we
told
had about
me
3
there
come
was
in.
about 5 or 6. Why are we talking so much trouble over 5 or 6 rats? You know,
Oh, the one guy said he caught 76 or something.
Yeah, he was shooting
Ronnie.
I don't buy that. I don't buy it.
Well,
Shooting rats.
Councilman Perkins asked, for us to look into if we could come up with a response to it and what the best way to do that was. And
Councilman Perkins should be here and he should be just talking about it himself instead of leaving it up to us.
Ronnie, I think you ought to do a workshop on a 5-gallon bucket. If they're showing you how to do it, well, we're going to have you do a workshop.
Carol.
Why don't we
Committee?
table this and when Councilman Perkins gets back, let him call a committee meeting.
Move it to
If y'all want to.
administrative. It says committee.
Yeah,
I
think
moved
that's
to
a good
administrative and let him go from here. One thing I was thinking
Carol,
about,
Pam, and Bill.
okay, I don't mind doing it, but let me ask you this.
It's time.
Why could we not notify the places that sell the rat poisoning? And what I'm getting to here is that Grisanti's, your brother, long time ago, we have a girl that was going around to restaurants. And it happened to me, and I went to the bathroom. I laid my $20 there to pay for my meal. When I came back, my $20 was gone. Your brother called me and said, Carol, was that food that bad that you didn't even leave a tip? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about, Paul. And I said, I left $20 there. What this girl did that I was eating with, she took my $20, put it in her pocket. She paid for the bill. And the next day she called up Paul and said it was the worst food ever. And he reimbursed her back all this money. So at that time, he and myself, I called O'Charlie's and I said, if anybody says that they're eating with me, you make sure that you call me personally. So my thought was, why could we not notify Home Depot, notify Lowe's, notify Durf Hardware, J-Town Hardware, the people that sells this stuff and says, if anybody comes in and they're from J-Town, they have to, we'll work with these people.
On the internet.
Huh?
How are you going to do the internet?
How am I going to do the internet? Oh, I forgot about
I
that.
think,
They won't do that.
There's too
I think
many
it's just too big of a
places.
hurdle.
Yeah, there's too many
Yeah.
places. Too many places and they won't say, we're
All right.
not going to.
I will
Okay.
entertain a motion to table this until you all decide to bring it back up.
I
So
second
moved.
the motion
So
to
moved.
table it.
All in favor, please say aye.
Ah,
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. So it's tabled until which time a council people want to bring it back up and discuss it. And so the next thing on the agenda, and you see
Thank you,
below the
Scott.
mayor's remarks, so if anything you see in the mayor's remarks, I will discuss in a few minutes, so you don't have to bring it up. Brian, committee report.
Mayor, Finance Committee has one report, and that report is that we did meet as part of the Insurance Committee today at 3:00 to discuss the very things that Chip was so gracious to go over here with our insurance for the calendar year 2023. As I said before, it was a unanimous vote to approve by all parties involved. That's the official report. Secondly, I would like to applaud the mayor's office and Public Works for the aggressive amount of blacktopping and resurfacing you're doing in not only the residential areas, but the commercial Commerce Park as well. So it looks very nice, and thank you for what you're doing there. That's it, sir.
In case anybody's interested that happens to be running for office, the paving is all done for the year.
It's over now.
Till December, because of the time of year leaves start falling. It's not good to pave. Hey, that's all, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Tim?
Planning and zoning has nothing to report, but Scholar, thanks for your quick report on that. And Chief, good luck on the last firehouse in Jefferson County. That's a big hurdle, big win, and I appreciate you. I guess I turn on my microphone. Do appreciate you thinking about the employees. That's one thing we do is we try to help out the people that deserve it. So thank you for coming to us with that information. So thank you.
Anything else, Tim? Thank you. Ronnie?
No, a report, Mayor, from legislative.
Thank you. Vince?
A report from public service. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark?
Nothing from economic development, but I do have one question, Mayor. I know we put down some rumble strips on, I think, what is that, Galen and Maple, when we made that from a two-way stop to a four-way. Have those rumble strips, do we feel like they've been effective on letting people know about?
I believe so. We haven't had any other people come up here or call.
Yeah, which has been great. I mean, I'm really glad we were able to get the four-way stop down there and stuff.
Right.
I know that typically we don't do speed bumps and those types of things for deterring speeders. We ask folks to report to the police department. Would we think, or is it possible to potentially use rumble strips at other intersections if they're speeding, or as another way to deter, where it's not necessarily a bump, but it's, I guess kind of in the same.
Break up and stop.
Yeah, like, hey, you're coming to a stop, or slow them down, or just in general, or are we thinking that might not work?
Jimmy was talking about putting some rumble strips in with some stop signs. I don't know if I would do without stop signs, because you may cause a accident of some kind, but there could be places where we place stop signs that we have additional rumble strips.
Okay. And I'm asking because, of course, we're going to get lots of, we hear about this a lot where folks have, they're reporting speeding and that type of stuff. So primarily we want to just get that to the police department, let them know here's basically 2-hour window so they can redirect patrols, those kind of things. But rumble strips, speed table, those type of things we would do. Maybe we'd have to look into, or probably not.
Safety committee.
Okay.
Pardon where you want.
Okay.
And that goes into one of the mayor's remarks about the stop signs on Gaudet and Gutenberg.
Okay. I was just looking for clarification, and that's cool.
That's okay. Well, and then I'll come back to them. Go ahead. Pam, is that all, Mark?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Pam.
This has been brought up before, I know, but
Don't bring it up again.
Who mows the grass on Gutenberg, the school property? Do they mow that? Okay. Who mows the grass on Blankenbaker, the medians? Like towards Tellersville Road, we don't do that.
We do.
We do.
Yeah. We do from probably close to where Blankenbaker access comes out, where we annex.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the other direction roughly is NTS.
Okay. I was just curious. Well, I went through there one day, and I tell you, mowing grass is a dangerous job. People are flying on Blankenbaker, and they're in the middle of that median mowing right next to the roadway. I mean, it's scary. But, my point was, when you become mayor, can you do something about Myers and Hirschburn Lane and those medians? Because, turning into Myers is dangerous.
Mayor. I am a mayor now.
Well, we'll work closely together. How's
That's what I
that?
meant. When you become the metro mayor, you gotta help us out on that street.
We will do that. That's both a safety problem and a pride of your city problem.
I mean, it's horrible. I hate it. And when's the cleaning company starting, the new one?
They already have.
When new cleaning contract starts
September 1st.
They start September 1st.
Oh,
Or they already started.
Yeah.
A couple days ago.
Please have them dust up here.
Well, they only do it once a month in here, so
Okay.
I can ask them to do that.
I've been looking at it for a while now, and it drives me nuts.
Bring in a-
I can't help it.
Mine's dusted. Mine's
Well,
dusted.
just bring
Pam.
my own
Must-
stuff
must
in.
be
Bring a
her
rag.
areas. Yeah, they must not like you. It's just ours.
No, I
that
can
does
see it down through.
Yours is clean because that's where they hand papers too, so they wipe it off with their
Oh, is that what it is?
forearms.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just being
Yes,
silly
I'll,
on that.
All right.
I will mention it too.
Councilwoman Pike. Carol.
I forgot what I had. First of all, I wanted to thank Brian and Pam. I volunteered to write a letter, and needless to say, I've been busy, and it was for the mask to go to Jefferson County schools. And I appreciate the letter that you all wrote, and thank you all for that. And you can sign my name. That was a very good letter. That's one thing. Second of all, they are asking for help, volunteers. I think you saw that at the Gaslight, and I think most people do help, but we're here for that, and we can help if they really need the help and volunteers. So if anybody can help, they would appreciate it. Other than that, Chief, you have anything? Nothing at all? Okay, that's all I have.
Stop signs on Gaudette and Gutenberg. Missy and us were looking for what your all's decision was on that and where.
Mayor, you were absent that evening. You had a previous engagement. The city council had voted to approve the petition signed on Gaudette, which placed the four-way stop. There's already two stop signs at the two courts on Gaudette, Advantage View courts. They're both Advantage View court. So the stop signs would be on Gaudette, the east and west sides of it or directions of it. So at Gaudette and Vantage View courts, those courts intersect. So it's a perfect four-way stop. That's where the additional two signs would be.
So Gaudette and Vantage View Court.
Yes, sir.
Is one of them.
Yes.
And then Gutenberg, did you all approve that or did
Yes,
y'all?
we did.
Okay,
We
good.
approved that.
Didn't we have everybody on there?
That was Corrigan, right? Of the lake. Gutenberg and Ravana? No, Gutenberg.
You said Corrigan.
No, Corrigan's the name of the guy. I can't remember the name of the street.
Signatures, yeah.
He got them, and he brought them, and he gave them to Jimmy, I think.
So we haven't voted on that.
No, we have not voted on
I
that.
don't think we voted on it.
So
Sure.
Gutenberg is on.
I may have misspoke. We may not have voted on that one. I'm not sure.
I'll have to check on that because I don't remember.
It's on hold till Carol checks.
I'm going to text Jimmy.
We didn't vote. You came back and told us that there were 38 signatures and one person wouldn't sign it. Because I said there's only like 8 houses you'd have to get permission from.
Yeah.
But whoever got the
Jimmy got it.
something.
Jimmy got it. And Jimmy went over there, and Jimmy has ordered the signs, I believe. Let me talk to Jimmy. I'll get back with you.
I got it on hold till you do that.
Okay.
Brook Hollow subdivision annexation public meeting is Monday, September 19th here in the council chambers. That's kind of over here on Stony Brook, some of the pickup street, the one street. Whoever wants to attend, that is a legal meeting we have to have. They've already turned us in a request to be annexed.
I have a question about that. How is Brook Hollow contiguous with our boundaries?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
I'd have to look and see what street.
They're not.
You got historic and all that, right where the big church is.
But that's
Down-
not contiguous.
You're going down 6 Mile.
No, on 6 Mile. Mm-mm. Any of you officers know? Brendan, do you all know? Anybody know?
Is it connected by a sidewalk possibly? That would-
To Stony Farms?
The back of the,
It's right there at the railroad tracks. It's Brook Hollow.
it's Westwood Farms and then
Huh?
He's right. Westwood Farms first.
Westwood Farms, then Brook Hollow.
So which one sets right on the railroad track? Westwood Farms. And then Brook Hollow.
So I
Brook
guess-
Hollow's closer to Hirschman.
It's like further
Would
out.
maybe they connect back in Greenhurst, back over in there? Who's talking to me?
Chief Cindy,
Okay.
he's back.
It does.
It looks like it's behind. Yeah. It's behind Planet Fitness.
Oh,
Goes from 6 Mile to Bridgehurst.
okay.
So if it's not contiguous, we can't annex them. True.
Right. You can't.
We'll look and see to make
Okay.
sure. And it could be the description that Missy had put here is just descriptive in a general area, not the exact area.
Okay.
Okay.
But anyway, the meeting, if we're assuming it is connectivity, because I thought that the place was what we missed last time that you wanted to bring in, Tim.
Mhm.
This is what,
Down that hole,
this is what it is.
but then that's, okay.
It might be a different name.
She made just general area. So we'll look, I believe that's what this is. I have to go back and check, but
What if it's the donut hole?
the,
Let's call it Krispy Kreme.
the 9/11 dedication is this Sunday at 6 o'clock. Hopefully we get it all in. We're still got pavers and, a lot of the towers have got to come in, the stones have got to go in. There's a lot of work to be done between now and then. Hopefully the rain holds up. So we're hoping at 6 o'clock on Sunday to come down. The chiefs will be there along with myself to dedicate it. On September 25th at 2 o'clock, the Woody Williams Gold Star Family Monument dedication will be at the park. We'll have seating for you all if you let us know ahead of time up front. The dedication will start at the plaza and then we will move down to the dedication and actually unveil the monument. We'll have most of the presentation up above, go down. The main thing of the Gold Star dedication is the Gold Star families. It's not the politicians, just to let you know. I know you all know that, but I'm just letting you know. They get the roses, they present the roses. I will be presenting the wreath, and then we'll be unveiling, usually the family helps unveil the monument. Friday at 9 o'clock, Walmart ribbon cutting, the remodeling, the Walmart back here. And in case you get calls on Tully on the traffic control that blocks Waterston Trail every day. We last year, as you all may remember, we offered to do the entranceway part of the remodel to let them go into their property, go around their property and come in. We were waiting for them to do their part before we did ours, and we have heard nothing yet. So it's the school that's the school system has not contacted us. We've tried several times and they have not moved forward with theirs. We're just simply doing the apron off our road to them.
Change the wording in the letter, Brian, to add that to the letter. that says the school board.
Just squeeze it in there.
Add an amendment.
The other thing was on the Tully, on Tully, we will be putting up the signs, do not block driveways during student drop off and pickup. People were being blocked, so they couldn't get out of their driveways. That will be added in the future.
There's already signs up over there.
Don't block driveways.
Yep.
When did they put, we may have already put them up. These were signs.
I don't know. I noticed them last week.
That could have been that we've been working on this for a few weeks, so maybe they've already got them up. We did get a award for Grand Marshal Award for our float. If you want to pass that down to show the people.
I think.
Mayor, can you tell me the Walmart date again, please, sir? I missed it.
This Friday, 9/9 at 9 o'clock. It's all nines.
And what time was it for 9/11 first responders?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Any other questions on things that are going on?
Gold
Gold Star
At the 25th?
is 2 o'clock on the 25th. If you forget, it's on the big board out there by it.
And are you going to need to know which of us are coming to the Gold Star?
Well, we're going to save seats up front for you. On one side, we look like, and then the other side will be the Gold Star family. So yeah, you all know.
Do we RSVP to Missy?
That's right.
Sure.
What was 9? 9. Yeah, I'll get it Friday.
Walmart.
Anything else?
No other business, Mayor? I'll make a motion we adjourn.
I think we won this award because we're all on it.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks,
Let me
guys.
see what we done.
Fucking out.
How do you remember all the states? Bill, I don't know how you remember all that.
Yep.
They
Okay.
on the side.
That's my calendar.
Oh, yeah, yeah.